Hi, everybody. It's Susan, Lynn, psychic medium. Thank you for joining me today. So good to see you guys. Listen, I'm in the mood for justice today. I bet you are too, because we are having to deal with these crazy, and I don't mean to say bad things about real crazy people. These people are really they're diabolical. Let's just call them diabolical. These diabolical zombies that are, refusing to get vaccines. They're refusing to wear a mask. And you know what? I'm going, and my guides are like, now my spirit guides are just like, oh my God, we thought we talked to her. We had the talk. Here she is. She's already gone off the rails. Okay, so the talk that they had with me was you have to be compassionate. Now, I have to tell you guys that I already had my opportunity to be compassionate and I missed it. I flat out missed it. I had a local guy who crossed over from COVID, and he was a leader in our local government in a little town near me, and he was extremely anti-VAX and anti-everything, right? Anti-everything. And very, very vocal, very outspoken about this. This gentleman, I think, he appears to be middle-aged. I think he's under 40, maybe under 45. He crossed over from the big V that's going around. And I was compassionate for him. I'm always compassionate for his family. I'm very sorry that he crossed over. And I'm sorry for anybody that crosses over. I am truly sorry for anybody that crosses over, because they didn't need to cross over. And frankly, I place the blame on much higher up leaders. And that's what I want to talk about right now, is getting justice for these people that have crossed over, be they pro or anti big V or not. They still they deserve justice, because both parties were harmed by this, information that comes out of these leaders. Okay, so I want to talk to you about Tucker and Rand Paul. And I'm going to try to use some abbreviations and things, because really YouTube is getting real serious about this. And they only give you 3 strikes and then you're gone forever. So I don't even want to get one, right? And they actually look at your video so far back that you wouldn't know for months. So anyway, here's the deal, guys. Here's how we're going to get justice. It turns out, I'm actually going to read a little something, and I will put it on the screen as I am wont to do sometimes, right? I'm going to read a little something. There's actually a way for us to sue these cretins and make them pay in a way that hurts them, which is through their pocketbook. So it turns out that there's this thing called tort law, and it allows anyone injured by the intentional bad act intentional bad act of another to sue for personal injury, property damage, or economic loss caused by that wrongful activity. So basically, it says that if I'm injured by someone and it causes me personal injury, property damage, or economic loss, I can sue them. So what you have here, folks, is potential for one of the biggest group lawsuits probably in the history of the United States. Because what we have is these people that cross over many times on their deathbed are actually saying words that are being videoed. I have been misled. I've been lied to. I wish I would have gotten the big V, the VAXX. I wish I would have taken the shot, gotten the jab. And even if they don't, their loved ones are often espousing those same things. And those loved ones are the ones that can go after, say, someone like Fox News and Tucker and say, I can draw a direct line between my grandpa or my dad and his beliefs and opinions about this subject to Tucker or to even Rand Paul. And therefore, and those things that were said have been proven scientifically wrong, and therefore it's irresponsible, and there's a direct cause or correlation to the fact that my dad, husband, brother, sister, mother is no longer here anymore. So we're talking about big lawsuits. We are talking about big lawsuits. Now, it's not happening now because this isn't over. It can't happen until it's close to being over. And they're telling me that the lower courts, of course, we do have the problem that, oh, that's quite interesting. We do have the problem that a lot of the lower courts have been stacked with, and the federal courts have been stacked with judges that lean a certain direction and won't be probably very, friendly to a lawsuit like this. But they just showed me it going up the court system, and they showed it actually getting to, a higher court. And even, I don't know if the Supreme Court handles civil cases, but I even see it going up all the way up to a Supreme Court. Maybe it's a state Supreme Court, I don't know, but I think it's a Supreme Court because they showed me Biden adding more judges to the court. Again, a lot of us have talked about this. We all see at least 2 judges going. Even if they don't go, I see Biden adding more judges to the court. Kennedy just popped into my head. I've often seen Kavanaugh going, and at least 2, maybe 3, actually, now that I'm thinking about it. Thomas, Kavanaugh, and maybe, I don't know what's up with Kennedy. That just popped into my head. So I think it's interesting. I think we're going to have an opportunity to get justice for these people. And to be honest with you, this is the problem. The main problem that we're having right now is disinformation being communicated through these very respected media sources. And they need to stop. And, I know that Fox News tried to, recant, remember when they said, we believe that this is real and we're just, they even have it in their legalese that no one in court, this was actually stated, that no one in their right mind would believe Tucker Carlson. They actually stated that in a court of law. That's how they got out of one of their lawsuits. No one in their right mind would ever believe this guy. How can you take him seriously? Well, I think that's going to be over. I think this is going to be over. I'm sorry if whether we're taking you seriously or not, you're a business and you're profiting from this man, and you're putting this man out there for millions of people to see. And indeed, you're actually playing this station on our military bases. So I think we're going to need to hold you to a higher standard. And that's either going to be through a civil lawsuit or through some other way, maybe some congressional law will be passed. We used to have the Fairness Doctrine, which didn't really cover everything, but it certainly made news more trustworthy because it had to be. And now with social media, their argument is that with social media, you can't test everything. You can't make sure that it's factual. And that's just BS. I mean, that's a bunch of malarkey bullshit. We know we can test that. We've got plenty of fact check websites that run all the time and tell us what's real and what's not real. It's just a matter of actually accepting what is real and what is not real. So I'm happy about this. I mean, honestly, to be honest with you guys, I'm thrilled. I'm thrilled about this because I've been down in the dumps about this situation, seeing how Tucker went to Hungary and met with a oppressive regime dictator. And in many ways, you can see how the former guy kind of patterned, and they're patterning each other's governments off of each other. So you can really see how the former guy was really setting this up to be, authoritarian. So we have to do something about the misinformation. We have to. Because here's what's happening, you guys. If you're new to this channel, or if you're new to, recently to my videos, here's the deal. And please take your time and look this up on any source that you want and fact check it yourself by all means. But the thing is that Russia is behind all of this. Russia is behind all of this. Behind all of this. behind those Republicans, behind their talking points, behind everything. Now, how are they behind it? They're making it rain, or they set them up and they have the goods on these people, or people like Rand Paul, such a limited, maybe his oxygen has been blocked for long periods of time, and he just, that's just the most he can get out of it, right? I mean, if you only can get to here, you can only get to there, right? So he is a libertarian, right, I think, and he's just... he's an anarchist. I think the man is an anarchist. And this brings me to the next point. We talked about Semina. We talked about Manchin. And these people are paid. Absolutely paid. They are doing the same things locally. They're doing the same things in your state. The R's and the P's, and we know who the P's are. They are paying people. They're paying their campaign, funding their campaign, and allowing them to run under Democratic name, and they're not. They're not. You're going to get a big old surprise when you find out that this person turns out to be a wolf in sheep's clothing. And listen, the reason they're doing this is because they want everything to be destabilized. They want America to be destabilized, and it's working. It's really working, right? So, they never had to fire a shot. They never had to take us to war. They're letting us tear each other apart from the inside. It's so much easier. I mean, look up Cambridge Analytica. Just look that up. Cambridge Analytica. Find out how that company found out how to change opinions using social media, how to spread disinformation, misinformation, and change people's opinions about things. They literally watched it happen in front of them. They could track the demographic and see the demographic switch. That's coercion. They're using subliminal messaging. So anyway, this is what's hitting us right now. This is the perfect storm. This is the blizzard that we're in right now. And I find that this this lawsuit really could be something that could break us out of it. It really could be something that we could use to silence these people because they're spewing, inaccuracy. And it's inaccuracy that's killing people, frankly. So I was thinking that, if a lot of people started getting the Delta and stuff like that, that they would change their minds, that their families would change their minds, that their communities would be like, oh, snap, this is bad. Whoops, this is bad, right? But instead, this misinformation, disinformation sort of cycle is churning out the narrative that's actually they're calling it the illegal aliens. The people coming across the border are bringing the virus. And the truth of the matter is, Mexico's handling this virus a lot better than we are. Right? I mean, and I like the memes that show Florida over here and Mexico over here. It's like the border is nowhere near Florida. Get a grip. If you don't know the actual outlines of your state, then maybe you shouldn't be governor. So that's what's happening is again, they're taking the narrative, they're turning it against us. So I think this tort thing really is going to be something that's going to become something we can use, sort of a big weapon that we can use. So I wanted to also talk to you guys about, and so let's talk about DeSantis for a second, the governor of Florida. You guys, I'm going to tell you that, of course, Republicans are always saying that that there should be free business, should be able to do whatever they want. That's their creed. That's their motto. Business should be able to do whatever they want. Well, here we have DeSantis telling the cruise lines, no, you cannot ask for people to be vaccinated before they board. Really? He's telling a private business how to run their business. Well, guess what? The courts decided he was wrong, and he really couldn't tell them that. And it turns out that something like over 70% of people who would board a cruise ship in Florida want to be boarded with other people that had the big vax. So he's wrong on all counts. So he's not, and you see this across the country. These people are not really connecting with their voters. Honestly, I know we all have heard, and we have family members that are those people. And I know they're out there, but I don't think that the average person is those people. So they're counting on, they know they can't win. They know they can't win. Abbott, the governor of Texas, DeSantis, the governor of Florida, McConnell, all those people. McConnell didn't win. I mean, he lost his leadership role, right? They know they can't win, so they're trying to attack the vote. Now, let's talk about the vote, because that's really important. And it was a question that you guys asked, and I don't know how I didn't answer it on the last video that I answered your questions. The vote. This is, let me check in with the guides about the vote, because they told me about 3 months ago. And remember, when they tell me things, I'm telling y'all, a lot of times it's a ways out. Our time is so slow compared to their time, okay? Our time, and maybe because we're slow ourselves, we're slow to pick it up. We're slow to go, oh, snap, So they give us a lot of time to kind of get with the program. But about 3 months ago, they told me that these lower courts and these laws, these state laws, were going to be null and void because there was going to be something that was going to happen at a congressional level or a higher court level that was going to supersede this. Now, I'm going to say again, you guys, the universe, God, the great computer in the sky, whatever it is you believe, they don't care about us in the sense that we're children, we're on our playground, we're supposed to be learning to play nice, we're supposed to be learning to play with each other, but if somebody gets a black eye, oh well, there's lessons to be learned on both sides, right? They have a very hands-off parenting style, not helicopter, for sure. But when it comes to the planet, when it comes to Earth, then they want to get involved. Okay, so you can look back at the nuclear disarming during the 50s when we were going to nuke everybody to death, and those nuclear armaments got disarmed. Nobody knows how. Well, I got one reason answer for you. Them. So here we are. They get involved because our America is so reckless right now. We're so out of control that we could really tip over. And if we tipped over too far to one side, we would be the kind of country that would use nuclear arms, that would do things that could potentially cause massive destruction, and even more massive maybe than what we're experiencing now, although this really does count, doesn't it, as massive destruction. So they got involved, and I'm going to tell you specifically, they got involved when Biden was elected. They got involved when Biden was elected. They got involved when those two senators from Georgia were elected. They told me, I was one of the only people saying, these two guys are going to get elected. Despite all odds, they're going to get elected, because I knew when the guides talked to me in this one voice with this one energy pattern, I know they're serious. It's kind of like when the parent uses that voice and you go, oh, I better stop doing what I'm doing because that was the last call before I get my clock rang. That's the voice they used. And they told me that these two senators were going to be elected because it would make the Senate 50-50. Now, they're not tipping the scales one way or the other. That's not what they're doing. They balanced the scales because they said that because the scales weren't balanced, they couldn't tell what people would do. Humans in America did not have a fair choice. They didn't have an equal choice to make a decision. So they balanced the Senate. Of course, we have things like the filibuster and things like that, but they did give us that much. And they're doing that to see what we would do. What are we going to do? How are we going to act? If we have the ability to do some things, what will we do? What will we think is important, right? So, with this voting, I just got to tell you, I don't see it. I don't see. Let me go back. They're showing me. Let me go back and make sure. Let me ask them. Will we safeguard the vote? Will we safeguard Americans' right to vote? Will we open up the vote for Americans? Okay. Will we safeguard? Okay, so when I ask, will we open up the vote for Americans? I get no. It's still restricted. It's still going to be restricted. When I ask, I see. Snap. All right. When I ask, will we safeguard the vote? They say yes. Here's the problem. We have to do something. We have to do something. They can't do everything, right? They're not going to. We're kids. You don't go around doing every single thing for your kid. Then they never learn their lessons, right? So we have to do something. Okay. What do we have to do? Are you talking about us, like me and you? Or are you talking about some other they, some other we, as in, our congressmen, our senators? Hail Mary. They're talking about a Hail Mary. They're talking about smart. They're talking about somebody being smart. They're showing me Porter. They're showing me Porter, and they're showing me. Isn't that her name? When I'm connected to them, I don't have the filing cabinet is not available when I'm connected to them. Katie Porter. They're showing me Katie Porter doing something, exposing something, going around, being smart. She's smarter than the average bear. She's smarter than them. She does something that is like a technical, like this tort law. Something that is not something everybody's thinking. Nobody's thinking about it, right? One thing the R's are really good at is they find every tiny loophole that would benefit them and they drive a semi-truck through it, right? The Democrats don't do that. And I think now you're going to start seeing people like Katie Porter and other smart people pouring through the laws, pouring through even the Constitution and finding our own loopholes. Okay, it's time for us to find our own loopholes and drive our semi-truck through it. I mean, it sounds like tit for tat, but this is kind of where we're at. We're at a place where there isn't normal bipartisanship. Now, I will say that what's on our side, and I also want to say something about cinema just came in. Kristen Cinema, they're talking about her. And don't let me forget to talk to you about Liz Cheney. What are they talking about with Christian Cinema? They're saying poison. She's poison. Yeah, hello. God, tell us something we don't know. Okay. But will she get recalled? I was seeing she may get recalled. Family. Her family. She has family protection. She must know somebody. She must have a big family connection, or she must have a well-known family, or her family's connected to somebody, or oh Lord, they're showing me her getting things funneled through her family, right? So the money or whatever it is doesn't go to her. Although I have looked up her donations, and there's a lot of there's $1 million. I don't know how much. I think it was $1 million. That is just. Woo, we don't know where it came from. Well, hello, I guess I know where it came from, right? So there's money funneling in from some other place. Is Katie Porter, is that connected to Kristen Cinema? No. Okay. They're just giving me information. I guess it doesn't have to be connected. But is Katie Porter going to do something to help the vote, to help fix the vote in, not obviously in California, but in some like Texas or Georgia, some of these places that are Florida, that are under attack. Because we don't have we don't have the political will in our state to fight this. That political will is against us. What does she have? It's tricky. I just see her being tricky. I see her by herself, very privately, having this eureka moment where she realizes that she's got something, that now I know I can use this. I can use this, and I can use this to barter or leverage or to get what we need to get. So that's very interesting. Katie Porter came out of nowhere. So, okay, Kristen Cinema, we talked about that. Dark money, yachts, I'm seeing boats, I'm seeing airplane, I'm seeing, wow. I mean, I don't even like saying this stuff on YouTube anymore. I really don't. But I'm seeing money coming from sources that shouldn't be coming, okay? And then also, I was going to talk about Liz Cheney. Thank you for reminding me. Liz Cheney, man. You know, the thing about Liz Cheney is they don't mess with her because who are you going to mess with? Dick Cheney's daughter? No, you are not going to do that. You ain't going to be that stupid. You're not. So, now I want to talk about, because this is what's coming up when I think about Liz Cheney, this is what's coming up. Okay, this whole investigation thing is taking forever, right? I mean, we all want justice. We all want justice. We all want justice. And I need to remind you guys that it took 20 months for the Watergate indictments, for the big guys. 20 months. They had Nixon on a tape, and it still took 20 months to get some of those bigger indictments, okay? And also, I want to remind you, because this makes me feel better, and hopefully it'll make you feel better, right? Is that it took 2 years for Garland to go after Timothy McVeigh. It took 2 years of research for him to really get his package of indictments together. And that's what's happening. When I look at Liz Cheney, I see her, I'm not going to say she's in on it, because she's not in on it. She's not privy to Biden's information. She's not privy to Harris's or Garland's or anybody's information. But she has her own sources, let's put it that way. So she pretty much knows what's going on. And I see her, you got to imagine, this is the picture they've been showing me all morning. Okay, imagine a floor. Okay, it just looks like a regular floor. Let's say it's the floor of Congress, the Capitol. And Cheney knows that she needs to stand here. As long as she stands here, or like in this area, everything's fine. She's just going to stay right here, right in her little space. Okay. Now, all these other people, and I just wanted to call them idiots, and maybe I should. All these other people, Jordan and Boebert and Marjorie and Gates and all these, all of them. But not McConnell and not Lindsey Graham. I wish I could say they were. But a lot of the other ones are over here on this side. They're on the other side. And what Garland is doing, wait, let me check. Oh, let me put some more people on that floor. Ivanka, Jared, Don's going separately. Don's going before this happens. Don and Eric are different. Ivanka's with this group. How weird, huh? Okay, and then also I was going to ask about the former guy. Where is he? He's with this group too. That's weird, huh? That the two boys are not with this group. Anyway, okay. So these people are all standing together. Let's put them at a soiree where they're drinking champagne and they're not masked and they're not vaxxed, right? And they're all standing there. And it turns out that where they're standing are these panels that just drop. And what Garland is doing is, instead of like grabbing one person and putting them away, and grabbing another person and putting them away, he's having all these people go to this soiree, drink very nice champagne, drink and have some nice little hors d'oeuvres. And then he's going to hit a button and all of their doors are going to drop at the same time. They've been showing me this all morning. All the doors are going to drop at the same time. You can't nab one, because once you do, the other one's going to run. For instance, if you have pets and you try to give them a bath, if you give one a bath, you're never going to catch the other one, right? So you need to do this all at one time so that you have the element of surprise, because that's really important. And that way they're all together. That's really important. They're all arrested or arrested at the same time. Number 3, they can't get away. The flight risk is much less of a possibility. So basically, that's what they're showing me. Now, because they're not trying to indict 2 people or 1 person or even 4 or 5 people, they're trying to indict 12, 15, 18, 25 people. It takes longer time. It's much longer. And you can't indict these people without literally having every possible T crossed and I dotted. Because if you leave something undone, they'll get out. Bill Cosby is a very good example of that, right? He got out on a technicality. Well, Garland doesn't let people out on technicalities. He's ready to, and I think Biden is happy for him to work for 24 months if he needs to. But when he pushes that trap door, by God, everything better be ready. It better be airtight, because they're all going down. And I believe they're all going down. Now, and I know they're all going down. I mean, they just showed it to me. So I think timing-wise, they talked about doing this. Let me ask them. Would this be the timing? Let me reverse engineer it. I'm going to double blind check it. I'm going to ask them and then ask them a different way. Here I am double blind testing my spirit guides when they're like, girl, you don't even listen to us. What are you talking about? Double blind testing us. Anyway. Wow, that's a long way away. March. I just got March. My God. Can we survive till March? February. That's a little better. 1 month. Now, this doesn't mean that there won't be something that happens before then. But if it does, it's because his hand was pushed. If something happens before then, it's because his hand was pushed and he had to do it. In other words, this person was trying to escape the United States. Or, as the guides have been saying for a long time, you guys, the guides have been saying, remember the picture. Biden, there's a boiling pot. He's got a lid on it. The thing is boiling over. So he is putting his hand on the lid and pushing the lid down, holding the lid down. But the lid goes blah, 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 and it starts boiling over. He can't contain it. That was the visual, right? He can't contain what's in the pot. What's in the pot is all these investigations. And what they've been telling me for a long time is that there's journalists that have really good information, and they're just withholding it because of Biden, because he's asked them to. Because timing is everything, guys. We have a country that's really divided right now, and we have a demic. I'm just going to take off the words. Take off words in the front and words in the back. You guys will figure it out. Going on, and we're trying to save our economy, right? He's got his hands full. He's got his hands full. Now, I mentioned all those people that really have a lot to do with Jan 6, right? Most of the people that I talked about had to do with Jan 6. When I go into DeSantis and I put DeSantis and Biden next to each other, I actually see Biden. I really do. Like a roundhouse, like way out, like boom. I guess Biden's mad. And I think that I'm telling you, they keep showing me scenarios and they don't work, right? I mean, Biden, what can Biden do against DeSantis? They've shown me this before too, that other countries could actually bring human rights violations against DeSantis. Really. But in some other universe, at some other point in time in our history, that really would have worked. That would have shamed him. But in this point in time in our history, those people don't care what anybody thinks. They don't care what other countries think. They don't like NATO. They don't care. They literally don't care about other countries. So it's not gonna help us in any way, shape, or form. I don't think DeSantis is gonna win his election, but that doesn't help us right now. Okay, last thing I want to talk about is why do they want me to talk about Rand Paul? I mean, talk about somebody who really infuriates me. There's karma. There's karma around Rand Paul. There's karma. Yikes. I wouldn't want to be Rand Paul. I think there's karma around Rand Paul with this D thing that's going around. And I'm not sure how that's going to play out. And I wouldn't wish it on anybody. And I'm not wishing on him. But I think there's some kind of karmic debt that has to be paid. And I don't know why Rand and not Tucker. Oh my God. They just told me. Because Tucker, okay, this is why I need these videos to be private. Because Tucker doesn't care. Tucker doesn't love anybody. He literally doesn't love anybody but himself. So it wouldn't hurt him to lose somebody in his family. I mean, that's what they're telling me, allegedly, from the spirit guides. This is for entertainment purposes only. But Rand actually does love his kids. He loves his family. Who would have thought? But he does. He thinks they're better than everybody else, and that's why he does. But anyway, so there's an opportunity for our karmic lesson. And again, I do not wish that on anybody. I don't. So that's what I have to say about Rand Paul. And I'm not even going to be happy about that. I'm not. Because I'm an empath, and I think this is all wrong. I think this is all wrong. People shouldn't be hurt. People shouldn't be hurting, and people shouldn't be crossing over, and that's the bottom line. Regardless of who you are, right? Okay, so last thing I want to talk about is Christopher Wray, because I have questions about Christopher Wray. Because he is very interesting, right? Why is he still there? Why is DeJoy still there? But why is Christopher Wray still there? And can we trust Christopher Wray? It's the same thing they always show me about Biden. The same thing. Biden, listen, I said this before. Before Biden was elected, there were people, there were assets, FBI, CIA, NSA, whatever, assets that were working on their own time, almost as a double spy against the United States in the sense that they were working for the former guy, but they were reporting what was happening, classified, very, very classified information. They were reporting it to their other sources that were getting it back to Obama and Biden. And Obama and Biden have been following this since day one, and Hillary. Since day one. They know so much that these idiots don't think they know. That's the thing. That's the only good thing I can say about it. When you're the nice guy, Mrs. or Mr. Democrat, you can be underestimated easily. And this is a thing. They've underestimated us. So, and they've underestimated Biden. And they've underestimated Hillary and Obama. So, Biden knows. So the thing is this. Biden knows. He knows who to trust and who not to trust. He still has his own channel. He's not using the main channel. There's even they're just telling me there's even generals he doesn't trust. There's majors, colonels, lieutenants, platoons. There's things he doesn't trust. He knows who they are. And there's some others that he suspects. So he just puts them all together in the do not trust category. So he is operating around Christopher Wray, not through Christopher Wray. Now, people are always saying, why trust the DOJ? Why trust? Because it's true. Trump, I did a video before Biden even left. Before Trump even left, that he was going to put these people in Biden's cabinet, in Biden's, in very high up places that Biden wasn't going to be able to go through and remove immediately. It was all planned. It was Barr and Bannon and Miller. They knew how to do this stuff. So Biden is literally, a lot of times, his arms are behind his back, right? So he's not going to just throw in the towel. He's going to operate like this, if he has to operate like that. Maybe it's not the usual chain of command. Maybe it's backwards. Maybe it's under and over. But that's what he's doing. So he's not using Wray anyway. And Wray knows he's not being used. Wray knows he's been going around. And you want to know what? Ray's just trying to stay out of jail. Wray is like, I'm good. I'll just sit right here and do what, there are things he runs through Wray, but they're very, the typical things. They're not anything having to do anything with January 6th. He throws him stuff, but it's really not. And Wray knows. Ray's not an idiot. Right? He knows. But he doesn't, but Wray also doesn't want to go down with that ship. He doesn't want to go down with the former guy's ship. So he's just as happy to just be neutral. He's not in there doing anything nefarious. Maybe on occasion he does things that are nefarious by the way of stalling. I see he stalls things. That I do see he does. But you can't go to jail for stalling. Right? So he does do some things, but for the most part, he tries to just not get his hands in the cookie jar. So I'm not really worried about him at this moment. I might call him a sleeper. Right now, he's asleep. Who knows what he's going to do if he wakes up and does something crazy? He might. But right now, he's a sleeper. I think that's about it. What I have for you guys. I do want to say, I'm going to do a separate video on this. I do want to say that going forward, we all have to be better at discerning, right? We have to be better at discerning. You guys have plants in your local government that are Republicans, that are portraying themselves as Democrats. Who amongst you is a traitor? Right? We're all going to be, if it was normal and we could be sitting at some of those outdoor barbecues that we would have sometimes, we would all be looking at each other like, is it you? You traitor? And that, what does that do? Divide us. Divide and conquer. But that's where we are. That's what they're doing. And it is what it is. We have to find a way to make sure that we really do our due diligence. I think sometimes we're so happy that somebody who looks electable shows up and wants to run for office that we're all too quick to just take them. Well, those days are over. Unless you want a whole bunch of mansions and cinemas running around. And Collins and people that you can't trust. Right? We can't do that. We need to check them out. We need to really, really have discernment. Okay? And that means also trust your gut, trust your heart, trust this. This can be fooled. This, not so much. So use this. Learn to get in touch with this and be discerning. Okay, so I hope this was helpful for you guys. I hope it was enjoyable. I hope it made you feel better, because honestly, I would love to see the world's largest class action suit against Tucker Carlson and against Rand Paul. I hate that guy's name, Rand Paul, and a few other people. In Fox News, I would love to see that. That would make my day. So, lift that message up. Give some energy to it. And take care of yourself, okay? We need you to survive this event, this whole thing. Because we need you on the other side to help pick this country back up, put the pieces back together. So that means taking care of yourself. Let this stress go out. Don't hold it in because it'll make you sick. Let it out. Release. Do as much releasing as you possibly can. Okay? Listen, big love to you guys. Thanks so much for joining me. Please subscribe, like. I'm growing the channel. The channel is growing fast. I really appreciate it. Why not join us? Join us all. And we'll see you next time. Take care, everybody. For entertainment purposes only.